play and call it work. MiniWarGaming's Faction Focus!
Hello everyone and welcome to the first of my two-part Eldar Craftworld review. I got Josh again because I never get to do enough things with him on camera since he got hired.
It's true.
It's true. It's very true.
I'll be your counter argument for everything, ideally.
Like in life.
That's actually true.
So Josh and I played the first game together. Right now that's up on YouTube. You can watch that right away. And then I played my second game against... Who was my opponent for my second game? It was against Owen and the Astra Militarum. So my first game is just like standard military guys, like the Guardians and the Wave Serpents. My next game is All Wraiths. The All Wraith stuff is something you're going to want to check out for sure. I'm going to keep all that in the second video. I'll keep the Wraith out of this first video because I find an easy way to separate all this stuff. But the Wraith stuff is what I'm particularly interested in this book, even though literally everything in this book is nice.
Well, it's always nice when you have the options to do whatever. Because I mean, I remember playing way back when I never got into Eldar, but I had thought about it and looking at is it Aliatok or
Aliatok, the Ranger list?
The Ranger list.
Yep.
And then which one was the All Ghost list too?
Eandon.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So, Iniad now, I guess? Oh, and that's something else I wanted to bring up as well. We'll talk a bit about Inari. Because Inari, basically, if you're playing with a all-Wraith list, you have no reason to go Craftworld. You're better off going... you have no reason to go Craftworld. You just go Inari for benefits. We'll talk about that in the second video as to why. Inari is basically Soul Burst like you remember it from 7th edition. One unit within 7 can do a move, charge, shoot, or whatever action. But if you are Inari, you lose the battle focus ability from Craftworld, or you use the power from pain from Dark Eldar. But battle focus, let's talk about that, because that is the one rule one of the few rules we still have.
So battle focus, the unit can shoot in the shooting phase as if it hasn't moved or advanced, with the exception of heavy weapons.
So I can't think of a reason why, as if it hasn't moved. Like if you advance, you're basically firing all your catapults as if you didn't move or didn't advance. So you're able to move your 7, because there's 7 based on a little Eldar guy. 7 plus D6, fire your catapult, and you don't count as the -1 to hit. Now it's a big hit from what it used to be. Because you used to be run.
You could do the jump, shoot, jump kind of thing before, right?
Right, and that's all gone. That is all gone. We still have Ancient Doom. You can reroll fail to hit rolls in the fight phase in a turn which it charges or is charged by a Slaanesh unit. However, you must add 1 to the morale test if the unit is within 3 of any Slaanesh. So we hate Slaanesh, and we're afraid of him, her.
It.
Afraid
of it?
Yeah, okay, so... Whatever, not the greatest of special rules, but again, this is the index. It's not as good as it used to be, but maybe it shouldn't be as good as it used to be.
Well, before, I mean, you had a lot of options, and I think with 8th edition being, I still think it's really heavily focused on movement. Movement's probably the most important thing in the game.
Yep.
If it was the way it used to be, way too powerful. This is still really good. So,
just with that, those are your Craftworld Eldar special rules, or you can take Inari and just gain Soul Burst instead of that battle focus. But you will keep your Ancient Doom, you just lose your battle focus. So would you rather have the extra move and then fire your catapults or your assault weapons as if you didn't do the advance? Or would you rather have, if one of your units died or one of theirs died, within 7 of you, you get a free action?
Well, I mean, like, with the way that again, I'm not an Eldar player, and I don't know the units like super well. I like the battle focus a little bit more because I always know what it's going to do.
Yep, well, there's that.
And my opponent doesn't have any degree of control over whether or not I use battle focus. So just I know it's simpler, it's probably less powerful, but it's more reliable and more consistent. So I think I'd stick with that.
With Soul Burst being 7 inches and all these deep strike type abilities, I use quotations there, they're all 9 inches away. So now you have the tactic of I'm going to drop down on you, kill stuff, and then go kill something else with the battle focus. Or sorry, with the
Soul Burst?
Strength from Death, Soul Burst.
Okay, yeah.
So that is pretty much all I have to say about Inari. All 3 characters are still there, but that's it. For Inari, you have those 3 characters, the Vizark, the Ivrain, and the Incarn. And then if you if you can use them in an Inari list, which has all the Craftworld and Dark Eldar stuff, with the exception of homunculus stuff from the Drukhari, no, not Dark Eldar. So there's not a whole lot to say about Inari. I actually won't be playing them unless people request to play them, because I still think Power from Pain, Soul Burst is really powerful.
Well, I'm curious to see. I mean, we're looking at the initial rules that have come out for everything, so the rules after to yeah.
Everything we say in these reviews are for the here and now in the index, because when these codexes start coming out, this is all going to be different. So it's a temporary until the codex come out. I don't know how long it's going to take, months or years, till they all get redone. But everything's solid for the here and now. We'll say that, and that's okay. Well, we have two disciplines, just like Eldar used to have. We have the Runes of Battle for the Spirit Seers and the Warlocks, and we have the Runes of Fate for the Farseers.
Yeah, nice and easy. So Runes of Battle. Again, you can either pick the psychic powers or roll, but Conceal Reveal.
Conceal Reveal.
Warp charge value of 6. If it's Conceal, you must subtract 1 from all hit rolls for ranged weapons that target the psychic or friendly infantry or biker units within 3 of the psychic until your next psychic phase.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's annoying.
It's amazing.
It's really, really good.
Really,
the penalty to
really
hit's
good.
is a really big deal.
Stopping Necron Tesla. If a heavy weapon shoots at you, even a Space Marine heavy weapon shooting at this list, if they move, they're hitting on 5s.
Right. Makes a big difference. Then reveals, choose an enemy unit within 18 of the psychic. It does not gain any bonus to its saving throws for being in cover until your next psychic phase. So not as big of a deal, but it's nice to have the option.
Options are always awesome. You're going to use Conceal most of the time, and Reveal when you just want to get that one unit out of that cover that just won't die.
Right. Again, being able to switch back and forth, whichever one you pick. We've got Embolden and Horrify. Again, warp charge value of 6, so these are all easy to be able to cast. Let's see, Embolden, you're going to add 2 to the leadership characteristic of any friendly Azuryani. I'm never going to say it right. Infantry or biker units within 3 of the psychic until your next psychic phase.
No, I'm going to pause you right there. I'll talk about Azuryani first. How to pronounce that, I don't know. Basically, there's an Elder called Asur. A lot of the Craftworld Eldar have the Asurani keyword. They worship Azur, and the Indian. I'm sorry, not the Indian. Inari have the Inari keyword because they worship Iniad. So we're seeing something which could be a little hint of the future.
Could be an interesting little
hint of the future.
What might be happening? Who knows?
Craftworld Eldar also have the Asurani. Anyways, that's all. Go ahead.
Then we get Horrify. We're going to choose an enemy unit within 18 of the psychic. Your opponent must subtract 1 from the leadership of that unit until your next psychic phase.
They're both okay. I don't think they're ever going to be an auto pick for me.
You might be able to build your list certain ways because there are other stuff in the Elder list that lets you modify leadership at the end.
Yep.
So if you want to stack some of that stuff, I guess, and if you're facing off against the right kind of list, a list that's got a lot of multi-wound big stuff in units, maybe you'll get something. Last, we have Enhance Drain. So warp charge value of 7, the toughest of the bunch, but you're still going to get it half the time.
Yep.
Enhance, you're going to add 1 to the hit rolls in the fight phase for friendly infantry and biker units within 3 of the psychic until your next psychic phase.
Most things are going to be hitting on 2s with that. It's not a terrible thing at all.
No, that definitely does help a little bit. Then we got Drain. Choose any unit within 18 of the psychic. Your opponent must subtract 1 from all hit rolls for that unit in the fight phase until your next psychic phase.
Again, that's another really good one. And not to, I think Conceal Reveal just shadows the other ones. Because they're all usable, they're all quite good. But what if you didn't have the restriction of you only cast a power once, and you could spam Conceal?
Well, yeah.
If you could, that would be so broken. That's how I kind of measure how broken things potentially. It's not broken because you only get one of them.
You only get one of them. You only get one attempt at it.
Spamming Embolden Horrify or spamming Enhanced Drain. I mean, it's useful, but it's not going to be as crazy as Conceal Reveal. So you can't, but it's you want to. That's how good it is.
Yeah, it's definitely, I'd say, out of the bunch, Conceal Reveal is probably going to be the most handy all the time.
Yeah.
But if you're building a really close combat-y list, I see Enhanced Drain being pretty important.
Yep, I agree. Yep.
Next, we're going to jump over to the Runes of Fate. First, we have Guide. Warp charge value of 7. If manifested, choose a friendly Azuryani unit within 24 inches of the psychic. So this opens it up to not just infantry and bikes, like I think all the other powers. You can reroll failed hit rolls for that unit's ranged weapons until your next psychic phase.
Get some rerolls.
Solid. That's Really, really solid. Doom, same thing, warp charge value of 7. Manifested, choose an enemy within 24 of the Psyker. You can reroll failed wound rolls until your next psychic phase.
Awesome.
Yep.
I love Doom.
And last but not least, Fortune, warp charge value of 7. If manifested, choose a friendly Azuriani unit within 24 of the Psyker. Until your next psychic phase, whenever that unit suffers a wound, roll a d6. On a 5-up, the wound is ignored. If it already has an ability with a similar effect, the psychic power does not affect them.
Okay. That's amazing. It's a 5-up.
Yeah, that feels like a bit much. It's basically, I know they don't have Feel No Pain, but it's basically a 5-up Feel No Pain.
Well, it's the one thing you can do against mortal wounds, right?
Yeah, it's one of the few. Yeah, it's basically one of the only ways to get around mortal wounds.
So all 3 of those Warlock powers, Farseer powers are absolutely great. No matter what you pick, you're going to use it. No matter which one of those you have, or 2 or 3 you have, they're all useful. And that's what I like to see in a discipline, where there's not one power. I'm like, I don't really care about that one too much.
Well, that was some of the things, like, that's one of the things I didn't like about 7th was, you know, you look at the different disciplines, and obviously you had to roll randomly to generate, but I'm going to roll in this discipline multiple times because I want this one power.
Yeah.
You know, the
right.
fact that they just give you the choice and everything's a lot more kind of evened out, I like that a lot.
And it's not like any of these are invisibility, where it's just like a near auto win power.
Right, like, that's one of the powers that, you know, I was talking about, where people don't care what's in the rest of the discipline, they're just trying their best to get invisibility.
Yeah, right.
So, the choice thing is nice.
Okay, well, I'm going to say this right now, though. We got a bunch of characters in this book. We have so many things in this book. We're just going to skip all the special characters. I don't use them often. I know many of you are upset I'm going to skip all these because there's so many of them.
Well, we could do like 3 videos on just the characters by themselves.
Absolutely. There's just so many of them. And some of them are actually quite nice, quite interesting. Solid characters, solid named characters. But like, yeah, we can't spend all day on just these characters. So we'll move on to the Autarch and the Farseer, the characters that are more generic. Autarch, now we see the movement 7 value that's going across the board for all the Eldar.
Right, which is nice.
Yep. He does Ancient Doom and Battle Focus. He can still carry his Banshee Mask or Mana Blasters. He has the Path of Command, which we're seeing quite regularly in a lot of characters.
Almost everything has that reroll to hit rolls of 1 and a bubble around them.
Yep. He has his 4 invuln. His stats are what you expect from an elf. He's strength toughness 3. He's got 4 attacks and 5 wounds, which is better than before. Only leadership 9 with a 3-up save. Okay, the Banshee Mask and the Mana Blasters. He can take those again. We'll talk about those when we get to the aspect okay. Shrines.
Real quick though, out of the, if you picked, which one of the 2 would you pick?
I don't know. You know what? Again, we'll talk about when we get to the shrines because there's no bad choice. There's no bad choice. It just means that this Autarch used to be one of those.
Yeah. Well, I mean, looking at the 2 of them, I mean, Mana Blasters, you might do a more wound on a 6.
Yep.
But the Banshee Mask seems more universally kind of useful. Being able to swing first.
Yeah. So Mana Blasters, it's basically it's your potential to do mortal wounds, but if you have a whole squad of them, you're going to do mortal wounds.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking for the Autarch himself, we probably want him swinging.
I guess so.
I don't know. I'm curious.
Them, right?
Yeah, exactly. You know, he can jump into whatever squad.
So okay, let's talk about them. The Banshee Mask. A model with a Banshee Mask always fights first in the fight phase, even if it didn't charge. If the enemy unit that have charged or has a similar ability, then alternate choosing the fight, starting with the player's turn it is. So basically, it's like it always strikes first.
Yeah, it's like it always strikes first. So he strikes in the same as if he charged all the time.
All the time. Well. Even before charges.
Well, no. If the enemy has unit that's charged,
then go back and forth. But basically, the way I understand it is, if say 5 of your enemy units charged you, he fights with one of them, then I fight with my Autarch.
Exactly.
Yeah. So definitely usable. But how killy is he going to be with strength 3, and not the greatest of combat weapons? But he has some nice options. Mana Blasters. If a model with Mana Blasters at the beginning of each subphase, roll a d6 if there's enemy unit within 1. Infantry unit. On a roll of 6, it suffers a mortal wound. If 2 or more infantry units within 1, choose 1 target before rolling. So I like mortal wounds. Again, you're right. Maybe not the best for an Autarch.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's a little bit more useful because.
But when you have a whole squad of 10 of them, you're gonna roll a 6 or 2.
Well, I mean, that's the thing that's what the squad of Scorpions is there for, not for the Autarch.
Now you can also take an Autarch with swooping hawk wings, giving him jump, sky leap, which is basically jump off the battlefield if I remember correctly. Yeah, he can leave the battlefield if he has Swooping Hawk wings. And he can also take the Mana Blasters or Banshee Mask while with wings. And it allows him to set up off the table as well and deep strike, as it were, on the table. You can take him with wings. Or you can get him with a Warp Jump Generator. So basically, we're covering a lot of the shrines with this guy. Because he gets a Warp Spider's Warp Jump Generator and his Force Field and his Banshee Mask or Mana Blasters. The Warp Jump, when this model moves in the movement phase, it can do so normally or using its Warp Jump Generator. If it uses its Warp Jump Generator, it cannot advance or charge this turn, but its move characteristic is increased by 46. And it gains Fly to the end of the phase. So it's 46 really plus 7. So you're averaging 21 inches.
Whew.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty crazy. And the Fly keyword obviously opens up a lot of options for him.
Yeah, able to leave combat and still shoot. You can take them on a bike, Skyrunner. Now, bikes no longer, this is the thing. After I get through the now, we'll talk about it right now. This is the downfall of scatter bikes. You're going to see
Needs to be.
Yep. You're going to see Wave Serpent Spam come back with a vengeance, though. But we'll get into that momentarily. So he can take a bike, make his movement 16 inches, and he gains an extra wound. And he gains +1 toughness. Toughness 4, because he's on a bike. The rest are the same. Next character, we have the Avatar Kane. Something you've probably never seen in the battlefield in 7th edition.
Right. I don't think I've seen him fielded, other than like kind of for goofy fun since like 3rd or 4th edition.
Love him. I used him in my first game right now. That's on YouTube with Josh, and I would use him as often as I can. He's movement 7, still slow but faster. Web skill to skill 2, strength up to 6, 8 wounds, 5 attacks, leadership 9, 3 up save.
Just good stats.
The Wailing Doom is his sword. It's strength +2, -4 d6 damage. And when you do wounds with it, you have to roll 2 dice and pick the highest for how much wounds it does.
So basically, it gets the Melter rule, but it's not limited by range like the Melter.
Well, Melt is a shooting thing, but this is in combat.
Well, he does it both shooting and in combat.
He can also shoot his sword, which does exactly what Josh just said, but it counts as Assault 1, Strength 8, -4 d6, and then you roll 2 dice and pick the highest for damage. He's a 5-up invulnerable save, because he's a demon. He has a 5-up ignore wounds.
The molten body.
Which will keep him alive. And
yep.
A Siriani within 12 of him do not take morale test. This guy is super solid.
And reroll failed charge rolls.
Oh, that's right, that's right. And he counts as within himself, right? So he rolls his own failed charge. The 5-up is quite good. It keeps him alive. It gets him across the battlefield. Have a Warlock behind him, and everybody's -1 to hit him. He is a character, too. So you can hide him behind your Guardians.
Right, as long as he's not the closest thing, he can't be targeted.
He will get across the field and chop your guys' faces off, like right off their faces.
Chop their faces right off their faces?
Yeah, you have 2 faces. Yeah. Farseers, everybody's favorite, my favorite. We have your standard Farseer. The Singing Spear is Assault 1, thrown at 12-inch range. Strength 9, D3 damage, it always wins on a 2. Same as the Witchblades, always wins on a 2. Really good. These have Fleshbane.
But now it wounds, because it wounds everything on 2 because there's no more.
Even vehicles.
I've seen a lot of that stuff that's poison or fleshbane or whatever say, well, except for vehicles.
Yes.
But not this.
He has his rune armor for his 4-up invulnerable. He takes the runes of the Farseer. Once in each psychic phase, you may attempt to reroll the number of dice used for this model's attempt to manifest to deny a psychic power.
Yeah, reroll any number of dice, which is really
And all his powers
good.
are 7+, so that's that's a nice little extra ability he has.
And you can attempt to manifest 2 psychic powers in each friendly psychic phase.
And he has a Ghost Helm. Whenever this model suffers a mortal wound, roll a 5+, the wound is ignored, because perils do mortal wounds.
Right.
So he can save himself from mortal wounds. And then, he have the Skyrunner version of him, which is on a bike. Same old nonsense. It moves 16, has a Shuriken Catapult. A Shuriken Catapult is Assault 2. Or sorry, Assault 4 now, because it's twin. On the bike, it's twin.
Shuriken Catapult, so yeah, Assault 4.
Yeah. The Warlock Conclave, or the Warlock, he's just, strength up to 3, movement 7, 2 attacks, 2 wounds guy. But he takes through runes of battle, and that's where you get your concealed reveal. Right. You're going to see these guys in spades like everywhere.
Because the Conclave is 2 minimum Warlocks, so you can just take the Warlock by himself.
Yep, you can.
And there's no difference there with either of them.
Yeah, you have a unit. It's a 2 minimum, but 2 maximum of 8 additional Warlocks. You have a unit of just Warlocks, and they all have Witchblades, so wound everything on 2s. They all have a 4-up invulnerable. They're not the cheapest thing, but they're not overly expensive either.
No, they're not too bad.
But that's the Warlock. And you can do them on the Sky Runners. You can take him by himself on the Sky Runner. The Spirit Seer is a Yandin type Warlock. He also helps he has a Spirit Mark rule. You can reroll hits rolls of 1 for friendly Spirit Hosts. Those Spirit Hosts are the Wraith units, Wraith Guard. Reroll hit rolls of 1 for friendly Spirit Host units attacks against an enemy unit that is within 6 of this model. So if he gets close to the enemy, he's Wraith Guard a little bit better. But basically a Warlock type character. Except for his staff, his Witchblade staff does 2 wounds instead of 1. So that's the characters in a nutshell.
Yeah. Pretty good. I mean, they're all solid. Yeah, everything's useful. I don't think there's anything here that I'm like, I would never take it. So
Warlocks and Spirit Seers and Far Seers and Autarchs, you're going to see them all. You're going to see every last one of them. Mostly Warlocks. Okay, we're going to get to the military. Well, the militia.
Right.
We have the Guardian Defenders. Again, we have movement 7. They carry Shuriken Catapults, which are Assault 2, 12-inch range, Strength 4, 1 damage, no rend. If you roll 6 to wound, -3 to your save. Just like old Bladestorm.
Yeah. Which is pretty nice.
Yep, it can take your heavy weapon. Now, in this edition, I don't know how useful these guys are going to be.
You don't think so?
They're a troop choice. That's all they have going for them.
I mean, they're relatively inexpensive.
They have a 5-up save. Now, I used my weapon platform when I played against Josh. I used my weapon platform as a 3-up save. I allocated the first wounds to that in hopes that it would save some Guardians.
I mean, for the most part, it did save a bunch of Guardians.
I don't want to be within 12 of my enemy with this unit. Now, put them inside a Way Serpent and jump out and shoot. Again, they're not useless. They're not really. They seem to be a little frail for their close range abilities in what I think is the Close Combat Edition.
I mean, yeah, it feels like they could help with fire support a little bit, I guess. I mean, they sit in the back minimum unit with a weapon platform sitting in terrain or something, right? Like, they've got their uses, but...
In my opinion, you're using them to buy a heavy weapon. There are other ways of getting heavy weapons more efficient and cheaper than these guys. The only reason why you want to do it is because they're troop choices if you want to take a troop choice.
Right, like if you need another cheap troop choice.
I would rather take the Rangers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they are better.
We come with the sniper rifle. They only have a 5-up save, but your opponent must subtract 1 to hit them, shooting at them all the time.
Which is huge, and then...
Put a Warlock next to them. The reason I want to shoot at them. I think they also have +2 to their armor save if they're in cover.
Right, they do.
3-up armor save when they're in cover. This unit is far better. It's more expensive. 5 of them is more expensive than 10 Guardians, but to me it feels way more useful.
I see either way. Like, I don't think I don't think the Guardians are completely out of it. But yeah, depending on how big of a game you're playing, I can see the Rangers being a lot more useful.
So, I'm going to ignore the Storm Guardians. They're the close combat version of Guardian Defenders. They have pistols and chainswords. Is it chainswords?
Yeah, they got chainswords.
Or no, Adari Blades.
No, they can take chainswords, right?
Okay, so they're the close combat version. I don't have enough experience with them to give an informed opinion. So the Strength and Toughness 3 combat guys. If you want to use guys for combat, you're probably better with the Aspect Hosts.
Yep.
But they can also take fusion guns. I'm not going to discount them. Flamers as well. I don't own any. I've never used any, so I can't speak intelligently about them. Now, I am going to skip this for now. We'll come back to this in a second. But I want to talk about the Dire Avengers because they're also troop choices.
Yeah, 3 power. I looked at them as soon as you're talking about the Rangers. I'm kind of looking at the bottom of the page.
Yeah.
Going, just take Dire Avengers.
Right. I mean, okay. So is it 5 Dire Avengers is a little cheaper than 10 Guardians, point wise or power wise. But their Avenger Shuriken Catapult is 18-inch range. That extra 6-inch range makes all the difference in the world.
It does. It gives them a lot more versatility.
Plus, the Dire Avenger Exarch can take a shield, which gives the entire unit, I believe, an invuln save. Oh, maybe not. Either way, it has to. So yeah, unit. So if you have a Shimmer shield on your Dire Avenger Exarch,
the whole unit gets a 5 of invuln.
It's not a great invuln, but it's pretty good.
It works a third of the time. It's like a 4-up would be completely broken.
Sure, he has a 4-up himself for reasons, but and he also the Overwatch on 5+. These guys are infinitely better than the Guardians in every way.
Except for point cost for how many models you get, yeah.
Yeah. Now, the next unit we're talking about is Wind Riders, but I want to say this while we're still in Dire Avengers. You're going to see a lot of Dire Avengers because Wave Serpent spam was taken down by the Scatterbike spam in 7th edition.
Right, because that was the easiest way to get a ton of firepower, right?
Yep, firepower, and it was cheaper than Wave Serpents. Now it's the other way around. Wave Serpents are back with a vengeance, overshadow the Scatterbikes, and you got to buy, because their Wave Serpents are dedicated transports, you have to buy units. The cheapest unit is a 5-man Dire Avenger unit. So you can buy your Wave Serpent. So you're going to see the Dire Avenger Wave Serpent.
So you think you're going to see a lot of spamming
Yes.
in Dire Avenger squads to get tons of Wave Serpents?
Yes, I really do.
How many Wave Serpents do you own?
9. I won't do it. Don't worry, I won't do it. So let's figure this out. Why? Wind Riders. They have a 16-inch movement. They have toughness 4 and 2 wounds now. Awesome.
Yep.
4-up save now. They lost their 3-up. Only a 4-up, which is good. They didn't warrant a 3-up before. Doesn't make sense they had 3-up before.
No, they shouldn't have.
They lost their Jink. They lost their 36-inch turbo boost. They lost their assault move in the assault phase. The reason why, and this is what, if you go back and watch the Eldar Apologist video from over 2 years ago, I think it was, the reason why I maintained back then that the jet bike was way better, because it was more survivable than the Wave Serpent.
It was, yeah.
Because it could move after it's shot and hide. They no longer can do that. So the Scatter Laser is a heavy 4 weapon. The bike is also no longer relentless. So it's firing shots on 4s if it moves. It's strength 6.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
good point.
It's strength 6, no rend, 1 damage. The Wind Rider Scatter Bike is done. It's not useless. It's now as good as everybody else's fast bikes.
Yeah.
However, I think Wind Rider is going to do much better
With the Shuriken cannons.
Yes.
Yeah, the Shuriken. I was looking at the cannon, and yeah, it's substantially better.
Or maybe just the catapults, because now it's 4 shots for the twin. Assault 4, 12-inch range. You have the speed to get where you need them to be.
That's true. Well, you get kind of danger close. The Shuriken cannon, you can stay a little bit further away.
Yep. Oh, it's gonna be catapults and cannons, and the scatter laser is done.
Yeah, I can't see people wanting to take the scatter laser much anymore.
The cannon is assault 3.
Right, and you can do you advance 6 automatically.
If you want to do the advance.
And you shoot as if you hadn't advanced.
I don't know. I gotta double check that because Battle Focus says you would. Oh yeah, because it's advanced. All same word.
Because it's in advance, and it says that the only thing that comes up is the whole heavy weapon thing.
So they move 22 inches and fire either 4 catapult shots or 3 cannon shots. Cannons are strength 6 minus 3 and a wound of 6. Scatter bike is done. It's cannon bike, or catapult bike, or the Wave Serpent. So that being said, let's go right to the Wave Serpent and figure out why. This thing is a dedicated transport. It unwounded. It moves 16.
Which is super fast.
Weapon skill 6, whatever. Bliss skill 3. Strength 6, toughness 7, 13 wounds, 3 attacks unwounded. Leadership 8, 3-up save. Serpent Shield. Any damage suffered by the Wave Serpent from a ranged weapon is reduced by 1 to a minimum of 1. In addition, once per battle, the Wave Serpent can discharge its Serpent Shield. If it does so, roll d6. On a 2+, the nearest visible enemy unit within 24 suffers d3 mortal wounds. But then you no longer gain the shield rule. So basically...
So yeah, you don't get your shield back after you disperse it, but...
You got shot by a las cannon, does d6 wounds, he rolls a 4, you only take 3. You reduce everything by 1. That is so super good. It is a hover tank. And it has fly, so you can charge your enemy, and you will every turn. Fall back and shoot, and just keep your enemy from moving around. Toughness 7. You're going to charge this thing like crazy. And it's a gun, like, you can still take the 2 missile launchers, 2 bright lances, 2 scatter lasers, cannon. The Shuriken catapult underneath can upgrade to a cannon. So in the game I played against Josh, the first thing I noticed was I'm upgrading my Shuriken catapult to a Shuriken cannon.
Right, yep.
And then on my nose gun, my twin-linked whatever, what used to be a twin-linked whatever, I put 2 Shuriken cannons. So now I have a vehicle with...
like 12 shots with...
9 shots, because they're 3 shots apiece. And they're assault weapons. Pretty good.
Oh, is it single cannon up top then?
It's
twin underneath?
It's 2, 1 underneath, 2 on top. But
okay, yeah, okay, you gotcha.
So we have this Assault 9, Toughness 7, 13 wound vehicle that takes -1 wound from range attacks. It's hover with fly. That sounds all pretty good. We have to skip ahead a bit.
Right, super solid. You gotta look at the vehicle equipment list?
We gotta look at the vehicle
Right,
equipment
yeah.
list. And you see me do this in the very first game, and the main reason why I believe that, we probably should have this bookmarked, why I believe scatter spam, wave serpent spam is back.
117. You're in the Necron.
Necron
list.
vehicle equipment. Okay, so let's do the vectored engines last. Crystal targeting matrix, go ahead. My mouse getting
Okay,
dry.
Crystal Targeting Matrix. A model with the Crystal Targeting Matrix does not suffer the penalty for firing a heavy weapon after moving when targeting the closest enemy unit. That's pretty good.
Now, I don't believe he can take a crystal targeting.
Well, it says you can take items from the vehicle equipment list.
Oh, crud. Nice. That's
Okay,
pretty.
go to the beginning.
Yep.
That's all on the vehicle
That
equipment
sounds
list.
great. I want to take that, except I don't want to take that.
Because you're not going to put heavy weapons on?
Correct, and we'll get there. But that is still pretty good.
Well, you give them the missile launchers or something like
Yep.
that, I can see. Spirit Stones. Roll a d6 each time a model with Spirit Stone suffers an unsaved wound or mortal wound. On a 6, the wound is ignored.
A 6 of feel no pain for a vehicle that already takes -1 damage from range.
It's silly. Star Engines. When a model with Star Engines advances, add 2d6 to the model's move characteristic for that movement phase instead of d6.
You got the points, why not? Because you're always going to advance with your Wave Serpent. Why?
Because of Vectored Engines. If a model with Vectored Engines advances, your opponent must subtract 1 from all hit rolls for ranged weapons that target it until your next movement phase.
So now you have this Wave Serpent with Vectored Engines who's always going to advance. He's -1 to hit. He takes -1 damage from shooting. He ignores damage on 6+ because he bought the Spirit Stones. He starts off at 107 points. He's really cheap.
Yep.
It's really cheap. And because it advanced, it has to fire its 9 shots from its shuriken cannons, which are assault, at -1. So he's hitting with 9 shots on 4s, but it's super resilient. 9 shots on 4s are better than 9 shots on 3s without the -1 to hit.
Yep.
I think this is your gunboat. You spam a bunch of these. Like,
Definitely. It definitely feels like it. The Wave Serpent spam feels like it's coming
you know
back
what?
pretty hard.
Let's do a quick, while we're here, let's total up what this thing's going to cost in points. Even though it'd be hard to gauge how good point values are right now until we
Well, I mean, you
experience
get a
bunch
sense of
things.
it.
So it starts off at 107, I remember that. I remember it being just over or just under a drop pod.
Yep.
It's so close to drop pod points unupgraded. The cannon, shuriken cannons.
107.
Where are you, shuriken cannons? 12 apiece, so now we're at 36 extra.
Yeah, because the twin should just be 24.
Yeah, it should be. Yeah.
Okay.
So we're at like we'll call it 140. And then we have to add these. Crystal targeting matrix, we don't care about that. We want Spirit Stones 10, we're at 150. We want Vectored Engines 10, we're at 160. 160 points.
Yeah, so I think it's 163 total is what we're at. And
Yeah.
ugh.
Right? That is far too efficient.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you get to bring one of these for every squad that can take a transport, right?
Right. You're going to take a 5-man squad of Dire Avengers, which cost you 50 points. Unupgraded. 5 points, 10 points
Can I buy
apiece.
the weapon for him too?
Oh, the Dire Avenger catapult is probably free. Where are you? Range weapons. Avenger. Oh, there's 7 points apiece. So there's 17 points apiece. So that's another 85 points for the squad.
Yep.
About what it used to be. A little bit more expensive than it used to be, but the Wave Serpent is drastically cheaper. So the 5 Dire Avengers Amazing Wave Serpent is cheaper than what it used to be total than when it was the Wave Serpent spam.
Yeah, and I can't see any reason why that all doesn't work.
We brought back the Wave Serpent spam, everybody. I don't know. Should we leave it there? Or should we keep on going? We have all the aspect shrines. We have all the Wraith stuff. The Wraith stuff I find fantastic. How are you feeling? Want to keep going?
Pick a couple more. We'll do a couple more, and then we'll jump in the vault for the rest of them. I think.
Okay. You know what? Actually, we'll come back. We'll do the Wraiths and the aspects in the vault, and we'll get a couple of the other vehicles right now. The rest of the military. So let's jump ahead to the Crimson Hunter, the Flyer. It's a flyer with vector dancer. Okay, now flyers have to move their 20 inches.
Yes.
And they have to move straight, and they can move 90 degrees before they move, just like flyers in 7th edition. And Vector Dancer, just like in 7th edition, after you're done moving, you can move 90 again, up to 90 again. So you can very easily have your flyer do this whole game on your backfield and just go on your backfield, back and forth, shooting his guns, if you want.
Because, yeah, where's the rule? Which one are we looking at?
We're looking for Wings of Cain.
When this model advances, add 20 to its move characteristic. That movement phase instead of rolling a dice.
Yep.
Each time this model moves, first pivot on the spot up to 90. It doesn't contribute to how far the model moves. And then move the model straight forwards. Once its move has finished, you can pivot a further 90 as before. Okay.
Basically, old Nectar Dancer. The Crimson Hunter comes with 2 Bright Lances, which are heavy 1, strength 8, -4, d6 damage. And a Pulse Laser, heavy 2, strength 8, -3, 3 damage. Pretty solid. It's hitting on 4s. You can reroll fail 2 wounds against things that fly.
No, he's hitting on 3s, right?
Where?
He's Blizzard skill 2 up.
I didn't notice that. He starts on 2s.
Yeah.
Interesting.
They're going to hit on 3s.
Good for him. He has 12 wounds, toughness 6, and a 3-up save. Solid. And you can also have the Exarch version of him, which I don't know what the difference is. He can reroll.
Marksman's Eye, you can reroll hit rolls of 1 for the model's range weapons.
Yep.
Is that... he's got the Star Cannon there.
He can also take a Star Cannon. Heavy 2. He can swap.
Swap his Bright Lances for 2 Star
Probably.
Cannons.
Probably.
Yeah, that's what it is. You can swap his 2 Bright Lances for 2 Star Cannons.
Star Cannons aren't bad. They're heavy 2. They're strength 6. They're -3, and they're 3 damage apiece. I like the solid 3.
Yeah.
You'll see Star Cannons back, but like, all the weapons are very viable. Missile launchers are very viable. Like, all the weapons are very viable. The Viper, 16-inch move, weapon skill 6, blitz skill 3, strength and toughness. Sorry, strength 4, toughness 5, 6 wounds, 1 attack. We don't care. It's not an assault vehicle.
Right.
It has a shuriken cannon, and it can take another one, or it can take the shuriken cannon and swap it for a different heavier weapon. It's relatively cheap.
Yeah, it's sitting at 4 power. Blade Wind's kind of cool. It's the same as the land speeders for the Marines have got. If you got a unit of 3, you get 20-inch move instead of 16.
I think you'll see them for charging and holding down enemy units. But toughness 5 and 6 wounds, 3-up save, it's not going to hold up against elite infantry. They'll bash it down.
Right, but going into like the back of a gun line or something like that and tying up squads and then jumping out and shooting them and charging them.
Or getting close to a big squad that's in combat, keeping them from piling in.
Yep.
Yeah, it definitely has its uses. The Viper is not useless. We'll come back to the Hemlock Wraithfighter, which I believe is a misprint on this thing. This thing is really, really, really too powerful for what it does, but we'll talk about that when we talk to the Wraiths, because this is a Wraith pilot.
Right.
Vol's Wrath support battery, your artillery pieces, they're toughness 5 with 4 wounds. The D cannon is 24-inch range, heavy D3. Strength 10, -4 to your save, D6 damage. Pretty similar to what it was before, 24-inch range.
Yep.
You take the Shadow Weaver, which is Warp Spider type weapon, is strength 6, heavy D6.
48-inch range gets to be pretty nice.
It used to be their old Barrage one.
Yep.
Rolls of 6 to wound are resolved at -4 AP.
And again, you don't need to be able to see your target.
Yep.
Okay. So pretty much the same rolls before. The Shuriken Catapult we've talked about from the guys. Vibro Cannon.
Oh, Vibro Cannon, there's the thing.
Okay, so heavy 1, 48-inch range. Strength 7, -1 to your save, D3 damage. For each Vibro Cannon that's already been fired at the same target in the phase, improve the AP of the weapon by 1 to a maximum of -3. And add 1 to the wound rolls for this weapon to a maximum of +2.
So you want a battery of them, and it'll be good against infantry, monsters, or vehicles.
Just about anything, yeah.
But it's going to maintain its strength 7. It used to go to strength 9. It used to get stronger. It's keeping the strength 7, but it's still pretty good. I just think the D10...
Well, it improves the wound rolls. I mean, it's the same difference, right?
Yep. D3 + 1, or... So the first one's going to be D3 if it hits and wounds. The second one's going to be D3 + 1 if it hits and wounds. And the third one will be D3 + 2 if it hits and wounds.
No, it's adding 1 to the wound rolls, not to the damage.
Oh, to the wound rolls. I thought it was to damage.
Yeah, no, you improve the AP and the wound rolls each time, not the damage.
Oh, so it does technically get to strength 9. Or no, even better, because...
Because you get to add +1 to the wound rolls.
Yeah.
So it's not just +1 to the strength. That's substantially better. That's what I was going to say. Yeah, no, this thing's pretty good. Because, yeah, it's something that, let's say the first shot's wounding a vehicle on a 4-up because it's toughness 7, which, Predators and stuff are. The next one's wounding on a 3, the next one's wounding on a 2.
Yeah. However, 24-inch range, the D-can is still going to be better. Always -4. Always.
Yeah, but that's half the range.
Yeah, totally. But, I mean, this you can take these back to 7th edition, and they still feel kind of the same. And the D-cannon was used more because it was your "don't come over here" weapon. Your opponent are you running out of power?
Trying to figure out if it was or not, but no, there it goes again.
Yeah, D-Cannon was a field of your opponent is not going to come over here. It was a super defensive weapon. The Falcon, it's still a transport. It's toughness 7. It's got 12 wounds. It has a pulse laser and a shuriken cannon. It can buy all the upgrades. And it is a hover tank. Solid vehicle. I'll buy a Wave Serpent.
Yeah, I was going to say, what reason do you have to take this over a Wave Serpent, ever?
Yeah, I mean,
other than, like, you got to take heavy sport stuff or whatever, but...
Yeah. And it's still good. It's not like it's terrible.
Well, it's just...
If you don't want to move the Wave Serpent, you want to just give it heavy weapons and park it in the corner, you can take the Falcon, but it doesn't have that Serpent Shield. If you want to park it in the corner...
Yeah, it's not nearly as resilient, and it's not that far off of the cost.
Yep. So we got the Fire Prism, again, same stats as your vehicles, 12 wounds, toughness 7. The Prism Cannon has 3 profiles, just like before. Dispersed, they're all 60-inch range, 60-inch range. Heavy D6 for Dispersed. Strength 6, -3 your save, 1 damage. Or you can go Focused, which was usually the old Small Blast. It's heavy D3, Strength 9, -4 to your save, and D3 damage. That's pretty good against vehicles.
Exactly, yeah.
Or Lance, Strength 12, -5 to your save, D6 damage. It's heavy 1 though, and that scares me.
Yeah, I mean, you're hitting on 3 normally, hitting on 4 if you move.
Yeah.
Except for you can take the upgrade on him to ignore that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you would take that in the Falcon too. So solid. The one shot scares me, but I used to do it in 7th edition with the one shot. So yeah, I would use this over the Falcon.
Yeah, definitely, because it's cheaper as well. So
your Night Spinner has the Doom Weaver. It is 40-inch range, heavy 2d6, strength 7, no AP, 2 wounds each. If you roll 6, 2 wound, it is -4 to your save. You can
pretty much same thing as before.
Yeah, you can pretty much say a lot of these are the same as before. The Warwalker moves 10. Awesome.
Yeah, it's really good.
Bliss skill 3. It's strength 5, toughness 6, 6 wounds, 2 attacks, leadership 8, but only a 4-up save. I'd really rather a 3-up on this guy. And he has a couple of shuriken cannons, and it can advance and fire them as if it didn't move because it has. Does it have it? Yeah, it has battle focus.
Battle focus, yep.
So you're gonna see these guys with assault cannons more than scatter lasers because the old tactic was before outflank them with 2 scatter lasers each.
And just light stuff up. Yeah.
Now it's just two.
It's funny to see a shift in the weapons as much as it's.
Well, if you glued them on, you're buying new ones, right?
Or clipping stuff off.
I guess. Yeah, so you're going to see double cannon Warwalkers, even though we can take the other ones. Double cannons, 3 shots each, ignoring the advanced penalty. They're assault weapons.
Kind of nice. So at the start of the first battle round, but before the first turn begins, you can move this model to 12 inches in any direction, provided it does not end this move within 9 inches of any enemy models.
That's fantastic. And it still has its 5-up invuln. It's not overly expensive. It's solid. I would totally use this. And that is it for the military. We have the wraiths and all the shrines to go over right now in the vault. Now, we're going to do that right now. It's already up. If you're not already a vault member, you can click the link below. Get yourself a 7-day free trial. All that was interesting. The wraiths shine to me, and every one of the aspect hosts are quite interesting. So you might want to check that video out, guys. A lot of good stuff in there. And also check out the battle reports that are up right now. The first one's against Josh and I, where I bring nothing but wraiths. And
no, the first one you bring nothing but military.
Oh, right. First one I bring nothing but military. And the Avatar of Cain, who was a boss, and a Wave Serpent. And then in the second one in the vault right now, I bring nothing but wraiths, and I walk into an Astra Militarum gun line. And you'd be surprised how well it did.
There we go.
It did, and I don't think Astra Militarum is weak anymore. I think they're quite good, and I think the Rays did quite a good job of walking there. But check out that video to see why, and check the review right now to see what I thought about that. Because I already played those games before we're sitting down to record this review.
Exactly, yeah. Because got to talk to it a little bit better.
So yeah, I think Eldar is going to do absolutely fine in 8th edition. Thanks for watching, everybody, and happy wargaming.